and welcome to DevSecTalks. I'm your host, Ashley Ward, and today I'm joined by Stefan, who's a platform lead at MySense.ai. When it comes to shifting an organization from traditional to agile methodologies, it can be tough to convince everyone to get on board with these changes. Stefan will talk about his experience with incorporating new technologies within an organization. In addition, we'll get into a few tips on how to encourage teams to embrace modernization in order to reach their full potential. Let's jump right in.
Hi Ashley, thank you for having me. I am the platform lead here at MySense.ai. MySense is a well-being analytics platform for the home. It's designed to identify changes in well-being behavior, and it helps people of all abilities to live a healthier, more independent life and bring reassurance to families and careers.
Now, you are going to be talking us through a little bit around, for this episode, some of the soft skills around that whole digital and DevOps transformation. Now, if you were to be saying we're going to be doing that, how do you encourage people to progress and reach their full potential?
So here at MySense, we have different processes that we've put in place. It starts with the onboarding and induction process, where basically we assess the skills and the level of knowledge of the developers that we hire. And based on that, we make a customized plan of things that they need to learn. And we also provide what is required for them to learn those skills. So we give them access to online courses, we give them access to books, and all of that is paid for by the company. So that is the first step in bringing the engineers to the level that we require them in order to be able to do their job properly.
That's really cool. Now, is that just like a Java course or how to conform to your coding standards? Is it that kind of thing?
We do make use of services like Udemy and A Cloud Guru, and we point new developers to those resources when it comes to learning new skills. The stuff that we do is kind of on the leading edge. We're using serverless technologies, is not technologies that most companies use. So when it comes to those sort of subjects, we are using online courses. And aside from that, we obviously have different internal processes, different coding standards, different like merging strategies for Git and another process that we follow. And we do take the time to also have the new developers run through and understand what those processes are.
Would you say that you had some sort of legacy environment that you had to deal with? Or, you're talking about serverless there, but how do you change mentalities to get to operating in a serverless land? Because I'm pretty sure some people listening would be, kind of scared to go full in serverless.
So since I joined the company was pretty much geared towards using managed services. We're obviously not in the business of managing infrastructure. We want to provide as much value as we can to our users and work on the product and not on the infrastructure and other issues that the cloud providers have already solved for us. So when I joined, we were using serverless technologies, but we weren't using the best tools that we could. For instance, we were using plain CloudFormation templates. Since then, we've switched to using the serverless framework, which makes it much easier to manage all the infrastructure that we have. And even now, we're looking towards newer technologies such as AWS CDK, make it easier to deploy the infrastructure that we need and speed up some of the processes if we can do so.
That is exciting. So that involves quite a lot of change. How do you with the industry that you're in? Security is going to be really quite a serious thing. How do you go about encouraging people who are learning new technologies, they're going through all that development, to also include security in that?
All the code that goes into production and even the dev and the staging environments, it goes through pull reviews. We make sure that the infrastructure that we deploy conform to the the baselines that we've set out. So for instance, S3 buckets, they shouldn't be public, they should be encrypted. We're making use of all the guidelines that AWS provide in terms of their well-architected framework and their serverless lens as well.
If somebody was coming to look at this, if you're talking, I'm thinking about doing it for my new organization, what are some of the things and tips and tricks you might share with them just now?
I think with security, there's different approaches. So you need to embed it at every step of the software development lifecycle. So it's not just a matter of having security in production and monitoring the production environment. It's also about catching potential vulnerabilities before they reach the production environment. And for that, there are different tools that can be used. For instance, there are tools that allow you to scan your CloudFormation templates and even enforce policies. Such as the one that I mentioned previously, like having the buckets encrypted and following all the good guidelines for security. There's also like GitHub has its own native integration that scans your repository and tells you if you have any dependencies in your repos that are vulnerable. Based on the different technologies that you use, like if you're using Node.js, the package managers have the option to audit the dependencies, and then you can go through the different vulnerability summaries to figure out which versions you need to upgrade to patch those vulnerabilities. So there's various things that you can do, and security is not obviously just one thing. Deploy security and it all works. It's comprised of many little things that you can do and should do, as I said, throughout the whole software development lifecycle, starting with the very beginning, scanning your code. There's static code analysis as well that you can do. Then doing additional security tests during the CI/CD process. And then finally with monitoring the production environment and getting alerted when incidents happen or when new vulnerabilities are introduced, and hopefully even have an automated rollback process.
Now, from a tracking improvements and point of view, and how do you go about making sure that things are continually getting better?
We're always on the look for new tools, for better tools to possibly speed up and improve the quality of what we are doing. Like recently, we've been looking into using a product that would improve our QA process, where you can set gates based on different quality metrics, such as coverage or a number of vulnerabilities that you might have in the dependencies, and any other sort of metrics that are important for the business and that you can define within that framework. So yeah, as I said, it's a matter of just constantly looking for what's new out there and what we can make use of.
From a platform point of view, do you provide, do you structure internally where you have different teams for different parts, or do you provide a platform that everyone uses? I mean, I know that it's serverless is a major thing, but what's kind of your take on how an organization should structure for this type of cloud native workload?
I think it depends on what works for the particular organization. In our case, initially when I joined, there were very few developers, so it was pretty much a single team. We were doing everything. But as we started growing and getting new hires, we kind of naturally evolved into separate teams. So we have a front-end team that is in charge of all our web dashboards and our mobile app. We have the backend team, which has full ownership over the backend. We have the data science team, and then we have the platform team, which currently is just myself. Yeah, so this is what works for us. I don't know, in different companies, they might have a completely flat structure with everybody working across teams. We have different developers. Most of them work within their own team, but also most of them are capable to work cross teams. Like a lot of us are full stack developers. So if there's an increased demand of, say, doing work on the front end, and less demand on the back end, then one of the engineers from the back end team can switch to the front end team and help out there. So we have brilliant communication. Anyone can talk to anyone else, starting from the junior dev to the CEO, and that's a very good thing. So we're constantly communicating with each other and we're helping each other out.
Just kind of moving on to a methodologies point of view. Okay, I mean, without, are you, I presume you're agile in nature with the way that you've been talking there, but can you take us through some of the methodologies that you're using?
Yes, so we are an agile team. We work in 2-week sprints. We start with the high-level view, which is the roadmap, which is then split into larger tickets that are then divided into smaller tickets with subtasks, and we try to gauge everyone's bandwidth in terms of the amount of work that they can deliver, and then assign those tickets accordingly, such that everybody has a comfortable level of workload, such that they don't get burnt out or they don't slack either.
From a MySense point of view, it sounds incredible what you're doing, and certainly the end goal of the company and what you're up to is incredibly exciting. Are you hiring at the moment? How can people find out more about MySense?
Yes, so first of all, they can find out about MySense by visiting our website, which is www.mysense.ai. And as for the positions that we have for hiring, you can go on LinkedIn. I think they are advertised there under LinkedIn jobs, and you can also get in touch with our human resources head, which is Kota Tamura. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn.
A huge thank you to Stefan for sitting down with us to talk through his security processes. And thank you for tuning in to today's episode. For more details on DevSecTalks, visit the link in the description below. And remember to subscribe and turn on channel notifications to stay informed on any upcoming episodes. If you're interested in being a part of the DevSecTalks series, or if you have any topics you'd like to hear more of, please feel free to let us know in the comments section below. I'll see you next time.